Colleagues have 4 minutes in total to make an initial statement. The Minister, as usual, has 4 minutes to reply. Deputy Sandra McLellan.
Okay, thank you, Chair. Anyone who drove through Fermoy in the 90s and early 2000s and got caught up in the inevitable delays can remember a sign as you came in from the Dublin side of the town saying something to the effect of, "Sorry for the delay, Fermoy needs a bypass." The campaign to get a bypass in Fermoy was ongoing for a long time, and they were very pleased when the bypass was finally built. But in many respects, the town never benefited from it as it might have, as a toll was put on it almost immediately. The haulage trucks never stopped driving through and have avoided the tolls. This has been compounded because twice in recent years the town has been badly affected by substantial floods, as you well know yourself. They have begun work on the flood relief work, which is necessary, but which has meant that the town is effectively like a building site. Fermoy currently is still a bottleneck. The community is very annoyed that it has not been included among the roads to have its toll lifted. They heard about this proposal and were very hopeful that Fermoy would benefit from it. They would have had several benefits to the local community. It may have convinced hauliers to go through the bypass. It would also have encouraged people into the town for shopping in the run-up to Christmas, and would have created the opportunity to complete some of the flood relief work while there is less haulage traffic going through the town. I am disappointed that government TDs failed to get this included, and I hope this Minister is willing to reconsider this matter and include the Fermoy bypass in the scheme.
Thank you. Dessie Ellis.
Minister, I welcome steps to make business a little easier for hauliers, and efforts have been made by the government in some regards, and I am happy to give credit where it's due. The lifting of tolls for hauliers for November will help make the year a little easier for companies that in many cases are scraping by due to the compounding factors of an economy in continuous recession and rising costs in keeping vehicles on the road. The lifting of tolls will also potentially help local economies by freeing up regional and local roads and giving greater access to local business for local people. The Minister's press release on the matter said he was concerned that large numbers of HGVs continue to use regional and local roads in order to avoid tolls and are driving through towns, villages and rural areas. This has safety implications for other road users, residents and pedestrians. In addition, by using local and regional roads instead of custom-built motorways, HGVs are adding to the wear and tear of the legacy roads network. Surely, if this was the objective, it is difficult to think of a more suitable example for this than Fermoy. The case for the town has been well made here by Deputy McLellan. The local community very much hope that the initiative would be extended to the M8. The Revive Fermoy group in particular felt it would be a most useful exercise. The chairman of Fermoy Town Council's Traffic Management Subcommittee, Independent Councillor Michael Hanley, has said he was under the impression it was going to be a national initiative and was very disappointed. They believe including the M8 would be a help in assessing the value of the motorway route versus going through the town. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Minister Tom Hayes to reply.
I wish to thank both deputies for the opportunity to address this issue in the House this evening. I want to apologise taking on behalf of the Minister for Transport, Tourism and Sport, Leo Varadkar, who is unable to be here. The Minister has responsibility for overall policy and funding in relation to the National Roads Programme. The implementation of individual national road projects is a matter for the National Roads Authority under the Roads Act of 1993/2007 in conjunction with the local authorities concerned. Furthermore, the statutory power to levy tolls on national roads, to make toll bylaws and to enter into toll agreement with private investors in respect of national roads invested in the NRA under Part 5 of the Roads Act 1993, as amended by the Planning and Development Act 2000 and the Roads Act 2007. While toll rates vary in line with consumer prices, the base rates are built into the PPP financing arrangement that enables the high-quality motorway network to be built. Completion of the major interurban motorways programme in recent years has greatly enhanced the freight industry's access to a high-quality road network between key urban centres. Given the scale of the investment in our motorways, an issue of concern to Minister Varadkar is the number of HGVs that divert onto regional and national roads in order to avoid tolls and are driving through towns and villages and rural areas rather than use the custom-built motorways. This has a significant safety implication for other road users, residents and pedestrians, as well as adding to the wear and tear of the legacy roads network. For this reason, earlier this year, Minister Varadkar asked the NRA to look at the feasibility of lifting tolls for HGVs for 1 month on one or more motorway across the country. The Minister has made it clear at the time that the scope of the trial would be subject to consideration of the costs involved. He therefore asked the NRA to engage with all the toll companies to assess the costs associated with this initiative. Given the high costs associated with rolling out the scheme throughout the network, it was not possible to do so on all tolled roads. Best practices for a short-term pilot such as this is to examine the efficacy of the scheme as a limited number of tolling points. The selection of the pilot tolls was on the basis of analysis conducted by the NRA. By trialling a toll-free month on these routes, the Minister wants to see if HGV fleet operators can be persuaded to use the motorway more. The Minister considers that this will provide a worthwhile opportunity to study traffic levels in detail and assess the implications. It will also give fleet operators a chance to evaluate the time and efficiency benefit of using these motorways. While all routes cannot be included in the trial, the findings arising from this month-long survey will feed into general tolling policy.
Thank you. The deputies have a minute each.
Sandra, I'd like to thank the Minister for his reply, and I understand that it's a pilot scheme. But can the Minister see that there is a clear need here to support businesses in Fermoy and the difference that this would make to them, considering that they are undergoing works for flood relief? And there are businesses closing monthly in Fermoy. The pressures on local businesses here are very substantial. These businesses, which were hit hard by severe flooding, are now struggling as traffic chokes up the town, particularly with all the haulage going through the town and the substantial works going on as part of the flood relief. The town needs a break, and the businesses in the town need support. I'm just wondering if the Minister can outline if there are any plans to consider any other such relaxations in the future.
Thank you, Deputy. Deputy Dessie Ellis.
While I've heard what the Minister said in terms of the NRA in conjunction with the local authorities making these decisions, it's clear that the Minister asked them to bring in this pilot scheme. So he has a certain amount of influence in terms of which roads should be, targeted, or which roads should avail of this scheme. I don't know what the rationale for not including the M8 is on that basis. It's the main Dublin Cork Road, what was the idea of the whole plan? Was the whole plan, why November instead of December, which is probably the busiest month, the Christmas period? I'm just not clear on why we picked November as well. What did he say, or what did the Minister say to the NRA and the local authorities? Did he insist that it was all the main roads, or did he have a list himself? Was there, were they allowed cherry pick themselves? I'm just not clear on why it would be approached in this way. Thank you.
Thank you.
Look, I understand and appreciate. I know Fermoy quite well, and I take the point that you're making, particularly in relation to businesses and the difficulties that they're in, and all the reorganisation. I passed through the other day on a weekend, and I certainly agree with what you have to say, that there was a lot of trucks going in, and that was the reason that that this was put in place. The Minister, I suppose, there's no reason to pick any particular month. I think November was the time he decided to do it, and as I outlined earlier in my response, the fact is that he realises there is a problem there, and I think what we have to do now is to wait and see. Obviously, Fermoy is a particular difficulty again. I would like to say that maybe I will mention it to him again, and I will put it to him, the particular case of Fermoy. There's nothing more. I'm not going to give any commitment, but certainly you did outline a very special case for them. But really, at the end of the day, it's down to cost and the cost of doing this. But he obviously realises that there is a problem, and he'll try and deal with it. Okay.
Thank you, Minister.